Hey Techno Studs! In this video, we're going to take a more in-depth look into the spanning tree algorithm. The spanning tree algorithm is that set of instructions that spanning tree protocol uses to eliminate loops. So let's take a more in-depth look into spanning tree algorithm. We are taking a more in-depth look into the spanning tree algorithm, but this is going to be more of an overview video. And then in the next few videos, we'll go over the specific steps. So in the next video, we're going to cover electing a root bridge. Then the next one we'll talk about calculating root path costs and how it applies to electing root ports. And then finally, we'll sum it up about electing designated and non-designated ports. When you turn on spanning tree protocol on your switch, or a lot of switches already have spanning tree protocol enabled on it, what's going to happen is every time you plug something into one of those ports and those ports go live, it's going to send out what's called bridge protocol data units. It's just a frame that it sends out the port with certain pieces of information. So if switch 2 on here would turn on, it would send out bridge protocol data units down each one of the links, and then it would send that out. And then those other switches would get that. Some of the information that it sends out is some things like information about STP, like the timers and that type of stuff. It will also send out its own bridge ID. So it sends out its ID out to these other devices. It also sends out information about what the lowest bridge ID that it's found on the network is. But what essentially happens is at some point in time, all of these switches get that same information, and then they determine who has the lowest bridge ID, and it will elect a root bridge. So it'll elect one of these devices as being the root bridge. The next thing it does is it then will calculate, okay, what is my fastest route? What is my least cost route to get to that root bridge? So for each one of these links on switch 2, it's going to determine that there's 4 ways to get to the root bridge. And then it's going to calculate the cost that it takes to get to that root bridge on each one of those links. Once it does that, what it will do is it will elect a root port. Out of those 4 links, it will choose one of them to say that is the link that I'm going to use to get to the root bridge. So I'll send it out in that direction. So it'll elect a root port. Then it will elect designated ports. So we will talk about what specifies a designated port, but on this network, there's going to be a lot of different designated ports that are on this network. And then it will shut off all other ports. So it will then elect alternate or blocked ports. So for switch 2, it would shut down all other ports going towards that root bridge. Therefore, what the end result is going to be is that there's going to only be one link to that root bridge that's live at any given time.